welcome to Noble Character Crafts. My name is Amy and I'm coming to you from eastern Nebraska, where I live with my husband and our 5 children. Today is Friday, January 30th, 2026. A huge welcome to any new or returning viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you really enjoy this episode. This is a channel all about my crafty life, and today I have knitting and crocheting to share with you all. I will have links to the places that you can find me in the description box below, as well as the show notes for this episode. I always forget to mention, and I think about it after I'm done recording, that I should try to mention every time that in the description box below, you will find a couple of things in there that I just always forget to mention. One of them is a coupon code that is just always available for you all to use if you make an order on KnitPick's website. And it is a discount code for you to receive 15% off your order. And that I'll put here on the screen so that you can use that if you want to. That's available at any time because I am an ambassador for KnitPicks, which I mentioned it a long time ago, but I haven't mentioned it in a long time. That I don't really participate in the ambassador program because in order to be, well, I am an ambassador and I have this code, which that's why I'm so thankful to be an ambassador so that I can offer this code to you all so that you can receive 15% off your order. But other than that, there's nothing that I participate in with the ambassador program. So you can do more by posting particular posts and talking about why you use KnitPick's yarn in your posts and like doing certain things, and then you get extra credit with KnitPicks, but I don't do those extra things because I don't want to. So I am just an ambassador. I do use a lot of KnitPick's yarn and I do like their yarn. I just am not into posting things and making like mini commercials through an Instagram post or something like that. So I don't do that. Anyway, but this code is available for you, and it's even available, for example, if they have yarn on sale, you can also use this code and then you'll get even 15%. This code is for 15% off your order. You'll get 15% more off of that, even if the yarn's already on sale. So sometimes it is really awesome to be able to use that and get a really good price on the yarn. Now you can only use one coupon code per order. So sometimes they'll have sales where you need to enter a coupon code in order to get that sale that they're offering. In that case, you know, if their sale is better than 15%, of course, choose that code. But there are other times where I've used my own code to get 15% off my order and say things are already on sale, then you get an extra 15% off your order. It works out pretty well. So anyway, I always forget to mention that is available. It's always in the description box, but I just forget to mention it. Also, in the description box is a link to a coffee account that I have for myself, and there have been several times when viewers of this channel have donated to that coffee account, and I just want to say thank you so much for that. And I just forget to mention that I have that in the description box as well, but it is available there if you are interested in donating money. That I just use that money to help pay for the postage when I send out prizes. So that's what that money goes towards. So I appreciate that. If you have been able to donate to that coffee account, I greatly appreciate it. But I just wanted to mention it because I know I always forget to mention those two things, and I should do that more often. Okay, today I am wearing a garment that I made last year. It is the Ariana cardigan by Amy Christoffers. It is both knit and crocheted. The granny squares are crocheted using fingering weight yarn. I used KnitPick's palette primarily for this garment, and I modified the pattern because the original pattern calls for thicker yarn, but KnitPick's palette is fingering weight, and I just modified it to make my squares the right size. And then all of the edging is knit. I held the yarn double for the ribbing sections. And anyway, I really love this cardigan, and it's very, fun, and it's just a great piece to be able to wear too. I love the idea that it has both knitting and crochet combined in it. So I really enjoy this cardigan, and I will link in the description box below to the video where this was a finished object in case you want to hear a little bit more about how I made this particular garment. It's been 3 weeks since I recorded an episode. I usually record every 2 weeks, so I have an extra week of items that I've been working on, so that will be reflected in the number of projects that I have to share with you all today. All right, I have finished these Christmas socks, which I think turned out so cute. I started these on Christmas Day and then finished them on January 13th. The yarn that I used for these is by Stylecraft. It came in a 3-pack of Christmassy yarns called Head Over Heels is the line of yarn, and this colorway is called Vixen. I used a US 0 2mm set of needles. I cast on 60 stitches. I did 2x1 ribbing, so knit 2, purl 1 ribbing for 25 rounds, and then went into straight stockinette stitch for 65 rounds for the legs. For the heels, I used some yarn that was gifted to me by Anna of Anna Knitter, and that is some yarn that she dyed herself on a sparkly base, and it's called Christmas Green. The main yarn is 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon fingering weight, and then Anna's yarn is 71% wool, 24% polyamide, and 5% polyester because it has a bit of sparkle in it. I did a slip stitch heel flap for the heels, and then again just plain stockinette until I got to the ball of my socks, and then I added in a slip stitch detail to add some reinforcement in that section of my socks. I have a tutorial here on my YouTube channel that I will also link in the description box below that shows you exactly how I knit my plain stockinette socks, and I also use self-striping yarn in that so that I kind of show how I make my socks matching, but it goes over the details of that slip stitch section on the ball of my socks as well as all of the other details that I include when I'm making my own socks. So I will link to that if you're interested in some more details. But I'm really happy with these. I think they are super fun. I also made another pair of Christmassy socks, and these I used Knit Picks Felici in the Buddy colorway, and this is also 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon fingering weight. I also cast on 60 stitches using US 0 2mm needles for these. For the cuffs, I knit 22 rounds of 2x1 ribbing and then went into plain stockinette until I got to a color change in this self-striping yarn. And when I did get to a color change, then I did 1 round of purl stitches, and I thought that was just a fun little detail to add in. Usually for example, when I knit my cuffs, when I get to a color change, I knit all of those stitches instead of adding any purl stitches in, so I don't get those purl blips. But I thought it'd be fun to kind of show off the purl blips for a change, and I like the effect of that. I thought it kind of turned out cute. For the heels, I used Knit Picks Stroll fingering in the Everglade Heather colorway. Again, same for this. I did a slip stitch heel flap again and added in that detail on the balls of my socks again like I normally do, but the only difference is that I just did 1 purl row every time my color stripes changed. These I started on December 27th and I finished them on January 16th. I also finished a couple of really small things since I recorded last. The last time I recorded, I shared that I was making this tiny little crocheted turtle, and it didn't take me long. In fact, I finished it the same day that I recorded my last episode. So this is a free pattern by Mariska Vos-Bolman. It is called the Mini Turtle Amigurumi, and all I had left to do was to make the head. Last time I had finished the body and the legs and the little tail, and that was already all put together. You kind of attach those pieces when you are making the body part, and then you just make the head separately and attach that on, and I added some little safety eyes to it. The pattern comes with options to make this using bulkier yarn or finer weight yarn. I used sport weight yarn. I used a 2.5mm hook. I used Knit Picks Brava Sport, And the green is called Alfalfa and the blue is called Sky. It's super cute, isn't it? I don't exactly know what I'm going to do with this yet. I'm going to probably just hang on to it and set it aside for a gift, I think. I do like it myself. It could even act like a really good pin cushion, but then that kind of looks mean that you're sticking pins into the back of the turtle shell. So I don't know. I mentioned that to my kids and they were like, oh no, don't do that. So I don't know. It's super cute. My son wants it. Maybe I'll let him have it. I don't know. He just has too many stuffies already and he's not really going to take good care of it, I don't think. So I don't know if what I'm going to do with it. Anyway, it was a really fast project. I started it on January 8th and finished it on January 9th. So that was a fun little project to make. I also whipped up another one of these super fast 20-minute scrunchies. I've made a lot of these and this is also a free pattern. It is by Haute Kippy by Bethany Sypolt. I used some leftovers from the Afghan that I made for my daughter, which by the way I gifted to her for her birthday and she loves it, of course. So that was great to be able to gift that to her. I made this on January 9th also, same day as my last episode. I used an H 5mm hook and this yarn is worsted weight. I think it was a hobby yarn, but I can't remember offhand what exactly it was, but anyway, in this dark green color. And yeah, I love this pattern. I've made it a lot. You just crochet around a hair tie. It's called a 20-minute scrunchie for a reason because it's just that fast. So they're great to whip up as well. Okay, last time I was also working on a hat and I finished that. This is the Stockholm Hat, a pattern by PetiteKnit. This is the first time I have made a pattern by PetiteKnit and I'm really happy with it. I again used Knit Picks Stroll and this again in the fingering weight, but I held it double so it's more of a DK gauge. And the colorway is called, that's funny, I didn't write it down, but it is Dogwood Heather. I'm pretty sure that's right. I don't know why I didn't write it down, but anyway, I started this hat on January 6th and I finished it on January 22nd. This pattern only comes with one size of stitch count. The only difference is that she recommends that you knit it to a longer length if you have a larger head size. I used US 3.25mm needles. And I actually knit it, even though I don't have a very large head, I knit it to the length for the largest size just because I like to have extra room, especially for a wider brim section. I have made a lot of the classic ribbed hat, which is a free pattern by Pearl Soho. And this pattern is very similar to that, except for the decreases are different. So it has more of a pointy or crown shaping, I guess, and it is longer. I did knit this longer than I knit the classic ribbed hats, so it has a bit of a different fit, I guess. So it can be worn like this, and then it has more of a pointy or top. So I think it turned out cool. I like it a lot. I am planning on keeping this one for myself. I'm not sure if the color suits me or not. I think it's okay, but maybe not the best color for me. I don't know, but I like it anyway, so I'm keeping it. I think that's it for this one. It weighs a total of 90 grams, so that's nice to know that you can definitely make one of these hats, even the largest size, using one skein of DK weight yarn or one skein of fingering weight yarn held double. I think that's it for this one. I have 3 more finished objects, and 2 of them you haven't even seen before. I started and finished them since I last recorded. I have 2 winter coats. Well, 2 winter coats that I wear out in public. One of them is more of a casual coat and one of them is a nicer coat. And my nicer coat is red, and I didn't have a pair of mittens to go with my nicer coat, and I wanted to make a pair of red mittens to match my nice winter coat. And I did. I made these cute colorwork mittens. This is a pattern by Running Yarn, The pattern is called Emma's Ice Flower Mittens. They are knit from the cuff up using worsted weight yarn. I used some yarn that was gifted to me by a viewer of this channel named Carlin, and it is Lamb's Pride worsted yarn, which is on the ball band, it's classified as worsted, but then when I looked it up on Ravelry, it did say that it was classified as Aran weight. So that made me understand why I was having such a hard time getting gauge using this yarn at first. But anyway, it is 85% wool, 15% mohair, and I used the creamy color is called Oatmeal. I didn't see a color for the red. I didn't see like a color name on the tag for the red, but it's just a true red color. Anyway, I did try making mittens using this yarn. I had to restart these several times before I found the right needle size to work for to get a good fitting mitten, because they kept turning out so big because this yarn is pretty thick, I guess. Anyway, I started these on January 17th and finished them on January 25th. I used US 2.75 millimeter needles for the cuffs. And then after the cuffs, she recommends that you go up in your needle size. So I did go up to US 2.53 millimeter for the rest of the mittens. There is an option to add in this flower on the palm, or you can also, there is a second chart to add in a motif that's similar to this one on the back of the hand onto the palm instead. So you can choose, but I went with the flower one because I liked it and because it's called Emma's Ice Flower Mittens, and so I think that is fitting. I don't know if it's the yarn or just my knitting. I don't think this is the best example of my abilities in color work. The stitches don't look fabulous if you look real closely, but I'm happy with them still, and I think they're great. They are super warm since they're color work and made using this thick Aran weight yarn. So they're great, and they'll keep my hands nice and toasty. I think they're very cute, and they fit me pretty well. I think they could be a little bit longer, maybe. They're a little bit short here. Like, I wouldn't mind if the cuff went down a little bit longer, and even if I had a little bit more room in the fingers so that the thumb, I have big hands. So anyway, they're pretty good fit though. They're roomy. There's enough width in them, but I could use a little bit of length, but it's kind of hard to determine that until you're done what you want to adjust. But if I did go back and make this pattern again, which I may do, but it was hard on my hands to knit these at such a tight gauge, but you really want them at a tight gauge for warm winter mittens, I think. But I couldn't work on these for long stretches of time because it would start to hurt my hands because it was such a tight gauge. But anyway, if I did go back and make these again, I would try to adjust that to add in, I don't know, maybe it would be kind of tricky to add in anything with this color work chart, but I don't know. Anyway, I would think about how I could maybe make them a little bit longer. They wouldn't have to be too much longer, but it would be nice if I had a few extra rows in there to give me a little extra length. Anyway, I think that is it for those. They are super warm, which is awesome. My 13-year-old son, the one who wants the turtle, also asked me if I would make him some socks. I've made him socks a long time ago. He didn't wear them often because he said they didn't really fit him well. And he said, I would really like knitted socks if you could get them to fit my feet well. He had problems with the socks I made him before, always sliding off of his foot, which of course he was much younger then and his feet were smaller then. But anyway, I decided to try to make him some socks again, and I did, and they turned out really cute, I think. I cast on 56 stitches so that they would be tight enough and not be too loose and falling off of his feet. He, has pretty good sized feet at 13 years old. They're smaller than mine, but I have pretty big feet. I wear a women's 9.5 US size. I don't remember what size he's in right now, but I think he's like the smallest of the men's size. We just bought him shoes recently, and now I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I think we got him whatever is the smallest men's size. So he's just out of kids' sizes. Anyway, I cast on 56 stitches and tried them on his feet, and it would go on his foot fine at 56 stitches. I knit 2x2 ribbing, so knit 2, purl 2 for 20 rounds for the cuff. The yarn that I used is Knit Picks Stroll Fingering. The greenish color here at the top is called Patina. The main color is called Electric Blue. And for the heels, I used Rainstorm Heather. So again, 20 rounds for the cuffs, knit 2, purl 2 on US 0 2mm needles. Then I switched to knit 3, purl 1 for the body of the socks. And I did another 20 rounds for the leg. He didn't want them very long. I did a slip stitch heel flap for the heels. And then I knit the foot quite long. I kept trying them on him, and I thought I knit my socks for a total of 80 rounds in the foot before I do my toe decreases. And I did the same for him. I knit 80 rounds, but I think because it's such a tight gauge, only 56 stitches, then that stretches out over his foot, which is kind of a wider foot, I think. Anyway, it fits him, and I didn't want them to be too short in the foot, of course, because then I thought that would make them prone to sliding off the heel more than if they were a little long, but they're really not too long. They fit him really well. So anyway, rounded toe and Kitchener the toes. Oh, and the ribbing, I also added the ribbing in through the body of the sock just to get a nice snug fit again, so that they would hopefully stay on his feet really well. So we'll try these out, see if he wears them and likes them, and if they stay on his feet well. And I told him, if you do like them and you wear them, then I'll be happy to make you more socks. So those are really cute, and he loves the color blue, so he's happy with them and excited to get them. So my last finished object is kind of an unexpected one. I wasn't thinking about finishing this, but I have been working on it a little bit here and there, and I did finish it. This is one of my scrappy blankets. I made this using up DK and worsted weight yarn. Most of it is wool, but there are blends of yarn in here as well as some cotton in here as well. I started this quite a while ago. Oh, and the pattern is the Rainbow Ripple Baby Blanket, a free pattern by Celeste Young that I have made so many times, both as a baby blanket. I've made them into dishcloths. I've made them into doilies. I've used this pattern to make dishcloths and doilies, just at a smaller size, of course, than what the blanket recommends. And then this is the first time that I have finished a full-size blanket using this pattern. So this is quite large. I wanted it to be a throw size, a size that our family could use, just to lounge around and cover up with. And it measures from point to point 85 inches. From valley to valley, it measures 70.5 inches. So it's a nice big size. I used a 4mm hook. I started this on September 14th, 2024, and finished it January 27th, 2026. I used the Russian join method whenever I changed yarns. I guess I could show you at least part of it, but I'll insert a picture here of what it looks like in its entirety so that you can get an idea of what it looks like. I'm not going to stand up and try to hold this up because it would be so hard to do that with this shape of a blanket. I've never made a big blanket in this, I've always made square or rectangular blankets. So this was kind of fun to make something that is more circular, and I think it will be fun to have it for our family to use. I'm not sure when it was that I shared this last. There was an episode not too terribly long ago where I kind of gave an update on all of my scrappy blankets that I'm working on. And since that time, I added 24 rounds to this blanket. So it did take quite a while to add in those 24 rounds, but anyway. I finished it off with the last few rounds are all in this reddish color, the reddish colors, and I think that makes a nice border for it. but it is still just very scrappy, using up tons of different yarns that I had in my stash. So that was great to have been able to use up all of these scraps in a blanket. And I love how it turned out. I think it's super cool looking. Oh, I did a total of 77 rounds on this blanket. Okay, I have only 2 works in progress that I've worked on since I recorded last. And one of them is another Rainbow Ripple baby blanket that I am making. But this one I am making using fingering weight yarn. And I am also planning on making this to be a throw size blanket, but I am using only Christmas yarns, Christmas colored yarns in this blanket, and it's really fun. I, would probably rather work on this around Christmas time, but I just finished those socks and I just have a bunch of little leftovers from making those socks and other little scraps that are in Christmassy colors that I wanted to add in. So I'm just working on this a little bit before I cast on anything else bigger. Anyway, I haven't made a ton of progress on this since I showed it last, which again, I'm not sure when that was, but there is a progress keeper here that was gifted to me by a viewer of the channel named Joy, which is easy for me to remember because her name is on the cup. Anyway, that is marking where I was last time I shared this with you, but it could have been over a year ago since I shared this, because this yarn that's left over is from a pair of socks that I made 2 Christmases ago. So it might have been a long time. So I haven't added too much to this blanket, just a few inches. But it is a pretty good size so far. When I am working on it, I am able to cover up my legs, and if I put it just right, it can cover up my feet too, which is nice because it's cold and it's nice to be able to cover up with this while I'm working on it. It's just obviously a super, well, maybe not obviously, it's a really easy pattern. It's just a 3-round repeat. I've made it so often that it's mindless for me, of course, and I enjoy working on this pattern so much. I am using a C 2.25 millimeter hook for this project, and yeah, I still have quite a few scraps of yarn in this Christmassy basket that I am adding in to this project. So I don't know if I'll work through all of that yarn before I put it away, or if I'll work up all of this yarn. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'm just working on it for now, and we'll see if I continue working on it for a while or if I put it away and then bring it back out around Christmas time the end of this year. I don't know. I haven't decided. I have one more work in progress that I am just carrying around with me in my crossbody bag. So it's an easy on-the-go project. I am making another classic ribbed hat. Again, this is a free pattern by Pearl Soho, designed by Jake Canton. I am using some yarn that was gifted to me by a viewer of this channel, but it's a mystery yarn. It didn't have a label on it. It, I believe, is fingering weight, single ply, and it's in this cool color that has blues, grays, dark charcoal colors all mixed together. It's really a neat color. I am making the adult small size, as I typically do. I like to keep track of how many of these classic ribbed hats I have made, and this one is number 38 that I have made of this pattern. I started it on January 22nd. I'm using US 3.25 millimeter needles again, and I cast on the adult small stitch count, but I will knit this to, I believe, 9.5 inches is what I go to for these hats before I do the crown decreases. Now again, I could probably use the crown decreases that are in the Stockholm hat for this. The counts are only off by 4 stitches. There's only a difference of 4 stitches. So I could probably adjust that and use those decreases if I decided to. But I think that the crown for the classic ribbed hat is more versatile for more people, and I'm planning on gifting this to someone in the future. I'm not planning on keeping this one, so I think I will just follow the classic ribbed hat decreases because they're really nice as well. And it's more of a rounded shape on the top of the head, and I think that's more versatile for more people rather than having the pointy style. Anyway, this is another super easy project to have on the go. I just love knitting up this pattern because it is so easy to take with me anywhere, and of course it's just knit one, purl one all around. I don't know if I mentioned that when I shared off the Stockholm hat, but it is just knit one, purl one all the way around. So it's nice and easy to take with me anywhere. I have a few more yarns that are set aside that I plan on making more of these hats with. They're just great gifts and easy to work on. So I love having them on the go. Lost my bag there for a second. Okay, that is all of the projects. Those are all of the projects that I have to share with you all today. I do have a few yarns to share with you though. I mentioned that since I am not hosting any make-alongs at this time, that I am going to be giving away yarny goodies throughout the year to viewers of this channel. So the way that it will work is I plan on, I don't know if I'll do it every episode, but maybe we'll see. I will share a prize that I am going to be giving away. And if you are interested in winning that prize, I'll give you a keyword to add into a comment. But then if you add that comment into your comment down below, you'll be entered to win the yarn that I share. And then I will announce the winner on the following episode that I record. I'll just use a random comment picker to pick the winner. I'll announce that on the following episode, and then the winner that is announced on the episode will need to contact me through email. So be sure not to get scammed by anybody trying to trick you through asking for information through a comment. I won't do that. I will not contact you through a comment on YouTube. I will just announce it on a video and ask you to email me with your mailing information. You won't need to pay for shipping or anything like that. Oh, but I should mention that I'm willing to send these yarns to anywhere in the world, but of course you will have to consider if your country, if there's a risk of having to pay extra money receiving a package from America, I won't be able to pay for any fees that may be on your end of postage, but I am willing to send packages overseas as long as you're willing to accept them. So keep that in mind if you want to enter to win these prizes. Yeah, you'll have to consider postage or fees that may be charged on your end. All of the yarn that I'm going to be gifting in the foreseeable future is yarn that was sent my way by different viewers of this channel. I believe all of this yarn that I'm gifting today was sent to me by a viewer of this channel named Ellen. So the prize for today is 5 skeins of yarn. The first one is Rowan Spray yarn. I need my glasses so I can just read this more easily. It is a chunkier yarn. There's 100 grams and 87 yards or 80 meters per skein. This one of this, I have 4 skeins of this line of yarn, but this is the only one that has a tag on it. And it's the only one in this particular color, which I was just trying to see if I could find a color number. It says shade 001, I guess. That's all that I have for this. I don't think I told the makeup of it. It is 60% wool, 40% acrylic. And I'm not sure what it's classified at, but 100 grams, 87 yards is a pretty bulky weight of yarn. But anyway, there's this pretty green variegated color, 1 ball of this, and then 3 balls of the same yarn, but in this pink and brown or tan color marled in together. But these 3 don't have labels, but they're the same yarn as that one. So you get these 4, and then one other huge cake of yarn. This is by Blue Heron Yarns. And it doesn't have a ton of information on the inside. The colorway is called Plum, and the section, or the thing that's checked, says soft twist cotton, 400 yards. But anyway, I think that's pretty much all the information I have on it. But it is a really cool yarn and very beautiful color. So if you are interested in winning all of these yarns, then just include a comment down below using the keyword Rowan, R-O-W-A-N. And that will include you in the drawing to win these goodies. And again, I'll announce that on my next video. I have a few other things I want to share with you that are some new things I got in the mail. I received a surprise package from a viewer of this channel named Dorothy, and she sent me over this beautiful Christmassy yarn. This is really special yarn that I actually have had the privilege of using in the past. Actually, Anna from Anna Knitter sent me this brand of yarn a few Christmases ago. It is by, I think it's pronounced Vos-Bolman, because it's a German company. And this is the Winterzauber brand or line, and it comes in a 3-pack of yarns, but it's only available overseas. It's from Germany, and Dorothy said that her parents live in France, and so that's how she is able to get this yarn from her parents. But she sent this 3-pack to me, and I'm so grateful. This yarn is so beautiful. It's super sparkly, and in these fun self-striping patterning yarns. They look really similar, but they knit up in 3 different patterns, so that's really neat. Oh, I need my glasses on again so I can tell you the makeup of these. These are 73% wool, 24% polyamide, 3% polyester, 100 grams for 370 meters. And yeah, I don't know, there's 3 colorway names or numbers, but they're 7126, 7127, and 7128. So thank you so much, Dorothy. I love these so much, and I'm so excited to add them to my Christmas sock collection, and then also add the leftovers to the Christmassy blanket that I just shared. And she also found 2 Leisure Arts Afghan pamphlets that I just love so much. She found these thrifting, and that is just what I would do. I would definitely look at the, book section for any kind of pamphlets like this, or in the craft section for these kinds of things. I just love these types of pamphlets, and these are so fun. This one is called Graphic Pattern Afghans. So there are just beautiful patterns using different fun graphic stitches. There's 7 total, so you're only seeing 5 there. Here's another one. They're just really fun patterns, really striking. Oh, and that's the other one. No, that's on the back. I'm not sure if I'll be able to find, oh, here's all of them. Here we go. I love those. And then also this one is called Rose Cottage Afghans, and there are 7, I think, in here as well. There are 2 of them. This one has granny squares that are attached together, which is really pretty. There's one on the back. So you can kind of see they're more like feminine, romantic looking, whereas the other ones are really striking, but I love both of them. Here is another one that has some granny squares. And there's another one with granny squares as well that I really like. Oh yeah, here's 2 more. I think that's all of them then. Oh, maybe this one you haven't seen yet. So another really fun collection of Afghan patterns. Thank you so much, Dorothy. That was so sweet of you to think of me and send these goodies my way. I appreciate it so much. And then I also wanted to share some yarn that I purchased from Pineapple Yarn that is just so stunning. I just love Marina's colorways so much. A lot of them I can't pull off because she dyes a lot of neon colors and I don't look great in neons, but these I loved so much. This is the one that caught my eye first when I watched one of her shop update videos, and this was a new colorway that she had dyed called Urban Oasis, and it came with a little mini that I just thought was such an awesome color combination to have that deep green contrast or coordinating mini with it. This is on her Lonnie sock set, or Lonnie sock base, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. I am not sure what I'll make with this, but I'm thinking a one skein shawl is gonna be for this one because I just love these colors so much and I don't want to just make socks that I'm gonna wear on my feet. I would rather have it in something that I can keep more special. I'm not sure though. And then this is one that I just grabbed while I was, in her shop because it was also so gorgeous. This one is called Current Mood and it is on the same base as the other one, but it also has this fun deep blue mini with it. I just love these colors also so much. So I just wanted to share those with you. I'm really excited to have those in my collection. So I think that is everything that I have to share with you all. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed seeing the things that I have been working on lately, and I hope that you are really enjoying the things that you're working on as well. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.